everybody. Welcome to another Street Fight Club podcast. I'm EBar, and I'm here with Mr. Fidget Spinner Finest.
That's me, Fidget Spinners!
I'm saying that's me. I told you that's my gimmick, and you're stealing it.
What am I supposed to say?
You're supposed to say, hey, I'm Finest. We discussed it. That's your thing.
We never talked about it. I said, Eric, tell me exactly what to say. And you said, I'm not telling you.
I wrote you a 600-word email about it.
I think you just put it on a show for the show to make me look bad.
Okay, I mean, I do like
Everybody knows that you are the piece of shit. You're the piece of shit.
Everybody knows that. Yeah, you're right. Everybody does know. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about the fact that I guess TV has changed. It continues to evolve, and in the television landscape of nowadays, no TV show is really dead. Basically, until the actors are dead. I mean, like recently we saw X-Files came back last year, and it's getting yet another season.
Full House?
Full House is now Fuller House. You know what I mean? Boy Meets World became Girl Meets World. I think that recently got canceled, but it just seems like there used to be like a permanence to shows ending. Like maybe you get a reunion or something like that every once in a while, but the Brady Bunch was famous for trying to do so many different spinoffs and shit, but most of the time you didn't see it. Like once your favorite show was done, it was just done, and that was the end of it. But it doesn't seem like things are that way anymore.
I think Netflix has proven that nostalgia is really strong right now, and that core demographic they want for the people in their 30s or whatever, they're bringing back everything that they liked or whatever, or trying to. They're trying to appeal to that. So that's why you got the Fuller House and the Girl Meets World or whatever, and those kinds of things, because they know that we are buying stuff now.
Yeah, and they know that we're hungry for that shit. You know what I mean? And I feel that's kind of how it always is. Like the people who ran networks back then, were different. The people that run them now are like people that are probably a little bit older than us, but still, grew up around that same era and kind of know that people want this stuff back because they want it back. I feel like, that's purely speculation on my part. But, for instance, the big news is Roseanne is being brought back with like all the main cast members. Well, maybe not all of them, but most of them.
I know they at least announced John Goodman and Roseanne and the goth daughter? She was
Darlene.
I wonder which Becky they're gonna use if they bring Becky back.
Oh, I didn't even think about that because the one Becky went on to Scrubs for like 9 years or whatever.
It's like Sarah Chalky or Chalk or however you say her name.
Yeah, and then I have no idea about the other Becky. Is she alive?
I have no. Who knows? I think there was a lot of. I think Roseanne is one of those shows that had a lot of backstage bullshit going on. Like I remember reading a story by Joss Whedon. He got his start on Roseanne, and he talked like it was like the most horrible experience of his life being a writer on that show.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there was a lot of drama. Like I recently read something about how like she for a while while that show was on, she was with Tom Arnold, and he had a show. And one year, she basically was like, "Look, if you don't bring back Tom's show, then I'm leaving too." And it ended up they canceled Tom Arnold's show. That her and Tom Arnold broke up, and Roseanne continued. But I'm sure there was a lot of shit like that.
Which brings up one of the things that makes this next year's reunion show so weird, and I don't know how they're going to explain this, but I know that she and John Goodman had some kind of falling out, which led to John Goodman dying on the show or whatever. Where he wasn't on the show for a long time or whatever, and then doesn't it reveal in the last season that he died?
Yeah, and whenever I heard about supposedly, at least for the entire final season, it was all just shit that she was. And that's the thing, a horrible ending to Roseanne, where like the last season was just something that she wrote. It just didn't make any. I didn't, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't a huge Roseanne fan, and I didn't tune in each week or anything like that. But it just still, I remember whenever that happened, it just even then seemed very, very, very strange. And
it's so odd because the show, what made it popular is that it's grounded in reality. Like, this is a poor working class family or whatever, and that really wasn't something that was being done on TV. Like, everybody, even watch a sitcom, almost everybody's got some crazy fancy job, or they don't talk about their job. They just live in nice apartments for no reason, and Brooklyn, where all the friends live.
Yeah, like the friends from Friends. There is no way they could have afforded the apartments that they had on that show, especially not the one that Rachel and Monica lived in, that big blue one. Fucking Monica was a chef that barely, she couldn't keep a job half the time. And then Rachel was a waitress at the coffee shop. Are you kidding me? There's no fucking way they're affording that big, especially in New York City. Come on, man. I don't know, but it's weird, and especially it's weird because they're bringing back Roseanne, even though Dan was supposedly dead the entire 9th season. Has he supposed to be alive now? How are they going to explain it?
Maybe they're just going to ignore that season?
I don't know, maybe, because like you said, it was about working class people, and in the 9th season, or maybe at the end of the 8th, I'm not sure. I looked it up not long ago, but they win the lottery. So they're rich, at least for the entire final season of Roseanne, which is just another thing that's completely fucking weird. I don't know. But we're here today to discuss maybe if we had a choice of some TV shows that could be brought back or maybe shouldn't have ended whenever they did, what would those be? Cat dog. Okay, Elena says cat dog. So, Finest, what do you think? What do you think? What was the first one on top of your head?
I'm trying to avoid the obvious, every nerdy bone in my body wants to say Firefly. Like, that's at the top of everybody's list.
Yeah, that's everybody's go-to thing that they shouldn't have ended and all that. Yeah.
Watch this show, or if you even remember, but back in 2010, Fox had a really funny cop show called The Good Guys.
I never watched it, but I do know what you're talking about.
It had Colin Hanks as like the straight man, nice detective, and then Bradley Whitford. I don't know if you remember who Bradley Whitford is. Most recently, he was in Get Out. He's like the creepy dad in Get Out. But he's in a lot of comedies. He's in Billy Madison. He's the guy that's.
I remember the other good guy.
But anyway. There wasn't a lot to the show, but it was just like the perfect buddy comedy. It was like a great buddy comedy every episode. It was written by the guy who created Burn Notice, and like it was really strong for a couple episodes. Fox was doing good, and then they changed it to like Saturday or something ridiculous, and then they moved the times on it like twice, and it just.
Dude, if your new episodes are coming out on a Saturday, they have absolutely no faith in you. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth.
But the show was really good. It got good reviews. It was funny. It just doesn't make any sense that it needed to be on a different network. And I know that's like the go-to thing that every single person says, like, it needed to be on a different network. But it just seemed like Fox had no idea how to handle it.
It's that way sometimes, man, honestly. But, yeah, I should watch the episodes that are available.
Yeah, I think you can watch the whole first season, like, on Netflix.
Because it always did look pretty good, honestly. I just, there's so much TV, like we always talk about.
Bradley Whitford's just, he's really great, and Colin Hanks is like a splitting image of his dad. And he's just an excellent straight man to, like, hey, this is how we're supposed to do it kind of guy,
Yeah, Colin Hanks is usually good in everything. Like, I think the last thing I saw him in was Fargo. And that was a terrific first season of a show.
Dude, that scene in Fargo where he almost arrests Billy Bob Thornton is one of the best scenes in TV.
So intense. Oh, my God, dude. Like, that was a, like surprisingly good show. And I know that they changed it for season 2, but you said that's I haven't watched it yet, but you said that season's pretty damn awesome as well.
Season 2 blows season 1 out of the water. That's not even an exaggeration. It's much better.
Damn, because I really liked the first season. Even though, what's his name, Martin Freeman? I don't think I can ever look at him the same way again.
Are you afraid that he's gonna hit you with a hammer or something?
He's a total douche. He's a complete douche throughout that entire fucking thing, dude. Like,
oh, then he gets away with everything scot-free, and then continues to push the envelope.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Fargo, is that it's not really about anything to do with the movie, but just that theme of people are so fucking greedy and stupid.
Yeah, and it's like, even whenever you have the perfect chance to just live a normal life, greediness takes you just a little too far, a little bit too far. But yeah, that was a good show. So anyway, the first one I was thinking of was a show called Angel. And it was a spinoff of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And the thing is, it went for 5 seasons, and it really wasn't, they really weren't done yet. But like, from what I understand, and I don't think that this is speculation, because I heard it around the time that it happened, and, you know, just ongoing. Basically, well, it wasn't the was it still the WB? It may have still been the WB. We're like, look, Joss, we're not going to tell you this early, because I think it was still maybe February of like 2004, whenever it went off the air. They were like, hey, Joss Whedon show, guys. I don't know if you're aware of that, but they're like, hey, we're not for certain renewing it, but we're not for certain not. But we just, you like at the closer to the upfronts, like, you know, this time of year is whenever they kind of announce what's canceled, what's keep going. And Joss was kind of just like, no, you're going to either renew it now or we're done. And the network was kind of like, well, then I guess we're done. And so they basically had 6 episodes left to wrap up, you know, 5 years of storylines. And it wasn't a bad ending for what they were able to do, but I feel like it feels rushed no matter which way you look at it, because they didn't have enough time to tell a complete story, or, you know, maybe one more season. And even though I think it'd be cool if they brought it back, that would be very difficult, considering Angel is a vampire and not supposed to age, and it's been 13 years, and he did Bones for almost all of those years, and, you know, he doesn't look the same because people get older. So you know, I don't know about being able to bring it back, but it's sad that it got canceled when it did. If there was a way to do it, that would be awesome. And I know that they came out with comic books of like season 6 that were endorsed by Joss, and he agreed to the storylines and everything, but, you know, it's never the same as watching it. It's just not. So I don't know if there were like Firefly comics, but, you know.
There's a ton of continuation Firefly stuff.
There was one year when Joss Whedon was doing Buffy, Angel, and Firefly all consecutively, and that had to have made him want to blow his goddamn brains out. Like, how do you run 3 shows all at once, 3 hour-long dramas, or, you know? I mean, his shit was always funny too, but I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he's killing it now in Hollywood. So, but I don't know. I know it was just like the 20th anniversary of the beginning of Buffy, because it started in 1997. But I don't know. One of my favorite shows, and one that got the axe at the wrong time, is what I would say.
Or exactly the right time.
Hey, fuck you, dude. What do you know about it? All right.
I'm gonna say my second show would be Jericho. Did you ever watch Jericho?
No, I didn't.
It was a CBS TV show that's basically like, it was during the same kind of time as like Lost, when mystery things were real big, like weird mystery sci-fi kind of high concept. Basically, it's this small town, I think in Kansas. It's been a long time since I've seen it. but there's some kind of nuclear attack. They can see bombs off in the distance or whatever, and they get shut off from the rest of the world. So it's this tiny, small town in Kansas, and they're trying to survive. And the first season is kind of basically just them trying to survive, get food and deal with different emergencies that you don't think about just because we have electricity and running water and all that kinds of things. And then at the end of the first season, you find out that there's like this big mystery brewing. There's kind of peppered in there that, that this might be some kind of inside job or something. And at the end of the second season, there's like they almost canceled it after the first season, but there was a huge campaign by fans. They mailed a bunch of shit into CBS's office, and they decided to give it a second season. So the second season ends with the revelation that there's that America has been divided up into different countries, and there's a war going on, and the people in the small town are going to have to join up in the war or whatever, and then it just ends. And it was just such a great show, and they tried to do the same thing you're talking about. They came out with like another season in like a few issue comic series, and it just wasn't the same. But it was just a really solid show that also stars Skeet Ulrich, who is like the devil's boyfriend or whatever in South Park.
What? Oh my god, that's so long ago. Holy shit!
You don't remember that?
Wait.
Doesn't the devil have like posters of Skeet Ulrich on his wall or something in the South Park movie?
Oh, maybe, but he's dating Hitler, right?
Yeah, no, Saddam Hussein.
Oh, Saddam, that's right. Fuck. God, I've seen that movie so many times. You think I'd know?
But it had a great cast. Yeah. It also had Lenny James, who plays Morgan on Walking Dead. He was the main character in the show, and it had what's his name? Fuck. Gerald McRaney. It was like a great character actor. He was in what's that Army Dad show from when we were kids? It's like something Dad, Major Dad.
Major Dad. Yeah. That was a funny show. I mean, I haven't seen it since I was probably 10, but it was hilarious.
But he's in a lot of good. I mean, he's been in a lot of good shows. He was on Deadwood and a lot of serious stuff. He recently had a pretty good run on This Is Us. But anyway, it was a good show. It's sad that they canceled it.
That is sad. But it seems like that'd be very difficult to bring back.
Basically, what happened was it got to where it was going to cost CBS way too much money, and it was already kind of down in the ratings, so they're just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just
one thing whenever we just have like this little town on the same set doing things every day, but when you start talking about like jets and fighter planes and actual army shit, then it gets to a whole new level.
Yeah. So one that I was thinking about, which might be a little bit, well, it kind of deviates from the shows that we've mentioned so far, and I know you've seen this. Why not fucking bring back Batman the Animated Series?
Oh my god.
That was such a good show, and it was the perfect portrayal of Batman. Ever since then, and I was growing up, ever since then, when I'm reading Batman comics, I hear Kevin Conroy in my head. I hear Mark Hamill when I'm listening to Joker.
Is how did they knock it out of the park with Batman the Animated Series, and then every single fucking subsequent Batman animated show has been horseshit. Like,
I don't know. Like, I tried watching that The Brave and the Bold. Like, he didn't even ever become Bruce. He's just always Batman. Like,
that's basically the 60s show. And it has Diedrich Bader, the guy from Drew Carey's show, is Batman.
I didn't even realize that, really. I mean, nothing against him, because I think he's funny, but the very odd choice for Batman.
I mean, it's obviously supposed to be funny. And then, like, the other day, they added the Batman, which was like the Batman TV show cartoon from the 70s, or not 70s, the like 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like, it's way over the top. The Joker has dreadlocks, and he's like this huge muscle man. Like, I was just watching and thinking, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I tried watching some of that The Batman cartoon, and yeah, man, it's not that great. But dude, you can still go back and watch fucking Batman the Animated Series from the moment it starts to the moment it ends. It's just good, and it doesn't dumb itself down because it's a cartoon. You know what I mean? That's one of the major things that I feel like a lot of 90s cartoons didn't do, was make you, you know, you watch a Batman cartoon now that maybe the Cartoon Network comes out with, and, you know, if you're over 12, it's not made for you. And back then, like, you could be an 8-year-old watching Batman the Animated Series, watching people shoot at Batman with real guns, not fucking laser guns or some shit. And it was just real drama. He had real relationships with people, and it was like a real show. It was really like the comic book had come to life in a way. You know what I mean? Like, nothing too crazy was ever going to happen, of course, but it still told great stories.
Well, look at that Batman the Animated Series movie. Was the Mask of the Phantasm?
Phantasm, yeah.
That's the most adult Batman movie that had come out since up to that point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's barely Batman in the movie. It's mainly Bruce Wayne dealing with all this weird relationship stuff.
Yeah, and it's a terrific movie, though. Like, I went back and watched that. I don't know. It's probably been a couple years now, but the shit is good. And I would watch it again today, for sure. And it's amazing because I know that was, like, planned on being a straight-to-video release, but somehow it ended up in theaters. I don't think that I saw it in the theater, but that's a really good movie, Mask of the Phantasm. I recommend it. If you haven't watched it, then it's worth it. Goes, you know, back into, like, Batman's backstory and this relationship. You know, I can't do it justice right now, but it's really good.
And as much as I love Kevin Conroy, who also does the voice in all the new Batman video games, the Arkham games, Mark Hamill as Joker, like, when I found out that was Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, it still blows my mind to know that today. Like, anytime I hear that voice, like, that is Luke Skywalker. Yeah. Because I cannot hear that voice without seeing the Joker. You know what I mean? Like, it's just perfect. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if they could have gotten a more perfect casting for the Joker than Luke fucking Skywalker, dude, because he kills it, man. He just kills it every time. And you know, and I know that sometimes they have released a few animated movies here and there that, you know, will feature Kevin Conroy or Mark Hamill, but it's not. The style is different. Like, things are just different, and I don't know. I just bring that shit back. Dedicate. What was it, Bruce Timm? Get that guy. Get that guy. I mean, he obviously knew what he was doing. You know, I don't know, but I think he still works on DC.
I think he still works on DC's animated movies that come out.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are really good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, I would love, like, a weekly animated Batman like I grew up with. And, you know, obviously, yeah, that's nostalgia, but that's exactly what we're talking about. That's why all these things are getting brought back lately. So yeah, I don't know. Did you have any more in mind, Finest?
No, that'll do. That'll
do, pig. That'll do. All right. Well, so let us know in the comments, like, what shows do you think were canceled prematurely? What shows would you like to see given another chance, even if they were successful? What would you like? Because I even heard about they're already, and this only been like, what, 2 or 3 years, they're already thinking about a fucking How I Met Your Mother thing.
Oh my god!
I just read that like yesterday.
Else, like, I think that we didn't really explore in this conversation that sometimes a show needs to die. Like, nostalgically, we want more of that show, but we've been proven in the past that more of the show is not always a great thing. Like, the first season of Heroes is great. The second season's not that good. The third season's bad. And then 5 years later, 6 years later, they do another season, not good at all. Arrested Development, amazing show. And then they bring it back on Netflix, not nearly as good.
Be careful, buddy, because they just announced that season 5 is a go.
Dude, I read that too, and I'm hoping that for season 5, they spend enough money to get all the actors in the same room at the same time.
I think that is. I think that's what was holding season 5 back for so long. But I think that they finally figured out a way to schedule it because some of the promotional shit that they've released so far make it seem like that they're all going to actually be there and be together and not be weirdly green screened together whenever they're not. You know, because it was very. It was just it was.
It's so obvious.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
so
not saying
obvious that they're not talking to each other.
Yeah, it's completely obvious. I'm not saying that it's bad writing. I'm just saying that it takes you out of it whenever you know that they're not really there together, along with having each episode be a separate character feature sort of thing, rather than seeing the ensemble every single episode, which is what we were used to with the first 3 seasons. So I feel like they wouldn't do it again if they weren't able to do it right, because I'm sure they know how people felt about the 4th season. But man, it's just one of those things. But fingers crossed, because I love Arrested Development, so I'm pretty excited for that. So I don't know. I don't know if I was trying to make a point before we brought that up, but
well, I'm just saying, like I brought up Firefly earlier. Like, what if another Firefly season is horrible? Like right now we can reminisce and be like, oh man, what could have been, and it would have been amazing. They could have gone for years, but what if that was it? Like, what if another one comes out and it's just like, man, that really was a one-hit wonder because season 2 was shit.
Right. It is possible, man. You really never know. And, I mean, it even happens, like, think about the gap between, and Elena mentioned this to me, so that's why I bring it up, but think about the gap between Stranger Things. What if even season 2 of that, after not that long, I mean, it'll be over a year at that point, but what if it's not good? You know what I mean? Like, the first season, like we've talked about it before, how much we like it, but I thought the shit is terrific. What if it's not so? What if they should have just, I don't know. You never know, man. It's a gamble.
There's something about going out on top, like Breaking Bad. That AMC had to have been going, hey guys, maybe we could do a couple more seasons. Could we do like one more season?
Squeeze out a little bit more.
But Vince Gilligan or whatever was like, no, this is my plan. This is where we stop. This is where the story ends.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got Better Call Saul, but which is a terrific fucking show.
Oh yeah, if you're not watching that, you're missing out.
Yeah, it's guys. Honestly, if you watch Breaking Bad and you're not watching Better Call Saul, what's wrong with you? You should definitely do that.
Even if Breaking Bad is too overwhelming for you to jump into, still watch Better Call Saul. You could still enjoy it.
That's true. It's absolutely not necessary that you've seen Breaking Bad to completely enjoy Better Call Saul. So
just makes it better.
High recommendation. But yeah, sometimes shit goes on too long, or sometimes they bring it back and it's not so. Which who knows with Roseanne.
Perfect example, The Office. How much better would that show be in the annals of time if it had stopped 2 seasons earlier?
Yeah. I mean, you're right, dude. Those last, and don't get me wrong, because I watched every episode of The Office, and there are funny things, but they fucked up a lot too. They fucked up a lot. Like, for a while there, they made Andy into Michael. Like, Andy wasn't Andy anymore. He was Michael because Michael was gone. And
right, they needed that asshole in the office.
It didn't make sense. Like, I don't know. When you take the main fucking character out of a show and then try to keep chugging along for 2 more seasons, I don't know. It just wasn't. But that is a good example, because they could have went out on top into season 7, still have Michael left to go be with Holly or whatever, and it been a beautiful ending. But no, they just had to milk it a little bit too much, and now we got 2 seasons that are just like, whatever. I guess I'll watch it. No.
Did she say frog face?
No, she said the Shannara Chronicles, which was some weird MTV show that was set in the past. Yeah.
Forget it.
But anyway, I think we've gone on long enough. I hope everybody stuck with us through this episode. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think should have been brought back or shouldn't have ended so soon, or what you think may have gone on a little bit too long. Let us know that too. interested to hear everybody's opinion on what we've been talking about for this episode. So, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/StreetFightClubPodcast.
Like and subscribe to EBar.
Like and subscribe to EBar because that's where you can find finest.
I'll be there.
And anyways, hopefully someday soon Chad will be back if he doesn't die. But yeah. So, anyways,
is he gonna die?
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you later.
No!